What's up, guys? Tambo here with your Week 6 core report. It's an exciting time to be a Run Pure Sports member as we parlay another big week of winning with the start of the NBA season. Here's a recap of last week. No sports were off limits for winners this past week. Relay 20 hit for $8K on the NASCAR slate. Brad Combe won $5K in an MLB playoff slate. Max Hankins gave a preview of what members can expect, shipping for $21,000 in NBA preseason. BigT had another big week, hitting for over $37,000 in CFB. For the NFL main slate, GK 2400 won over $10K on FanDuel, while our guy Locks shipped an NFL Live final seat. But the biggest wins came on Monday Night Football, when the top of the leaderboard was littered with RPS logos again. JSU led the way with his core plays featuring Captain Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert and Joshua Palmer in the flex. His winning lineup was topped off with Russell Wilson and Dustin Hopkins, as well as low-owned $200 Greg Dulcich, who was talked up big on our free Monday Night Football Showdown show by special guest Chris Rando.
He's fast. He runs like a 4.7 40, and he can actually play the slot. He gives very difficult matchup situations. He's fast. He's got hands. Don't be surprised tonight if maybe he's out there in the mix and, he gets, a few catches and, who knows what happens.
This is your weekly reminder to head on over to our YouTube page and hit subscribe to access all of our great free content. Our guy Johnny AirPods wasn't the only one repping RPS at the top, shipping for over 50K. Matt Attack Lax ran the same lineup twice, shipping for over 95,000. Phil Mike's Bra also shipped for 10,000, while Nuggets hit for 14,000. Now is the time to join us. Head on over to runpuresports.com and sign up for a membership today. Again, all sports are included for one price, and NBA starts this week. You won't want to miss out when our team gets hot during hoop season. Remember, you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Talking some hoops, the NBA Hardwood show with AP, Hoop, myself. It's a great night. You got 8 games from NBA, a great slate. Then we got some Monday Night Football, big prize pools, as always. Best time of the year, I always say it. NFL and NBA in the same night. If you're a hockey fan, Matty Ice, EJ always grinding the hockey streets. Prize picks going on over here at Run Pure Sports. There's a lot of money to be made today, that's for sure. AP, throw it over to you first. How was your weekend? Chiefs, big win yesterday, and NBA slate. 8 games, great slate. We don't have to worry about those two gamers that we had last week. We're in back in action. I'm excited for it. I think it's a good one. What's going on, AP?
Yeah, the weekend was good. Sunday, Austin Eckler, kind of that last touchdown cost me some money, but it is what it is. It was still a fun slate. I was really high on Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and then I as the homer I had to get a little bit of Chiefs stacks in there too. And my guy was dealing, man. He looked good. And I will say, all week long, all I heard was Chiefs aren't good. They don't have anyone. Juju's fat and slow, which, maybe not the worst of takes out there, but it is good to see Kansas City. It was good to see Kansas City do that to the 49ers. And they're just going to get healthy. They got pieces coming back on defense. So, when you look at the AFC right now, it's going to be a ton of fun. The Bengals look super good. Obviously, the Bills are still atop of the conference. And then it's probably Chiefs or Bengals. So they'll meet in 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. And we'll see an awesome battle. It's going to be a ton of fun. But no, title, I'm excited, man. And we got, full day yesterday. And now we go right into a full slate of NBA games.
Yeah, this time of year is awesome. Every single day there's great action. Hoop, throw it over to you. How was your weekend? I know you're watching some MMA on Saturday. That was a good time yesterday. How the football streets treat you? NBA back in action. What's going on?
Yeah, football streets, pretty close. I had some good teams. I had some Burrow Chase teams. Man, I talked about Tyler Boyd on the show too, and the dude, they made fun of me. and I didn't have enough. I mean, I played some of him, but I actually liked him more than I ended up playing him, which is always a bad feeling. You know, as I said, we talked about it on the morning wood. Big T and Crane made fun of me. I know our guy Chris Randome was on Boyd a little bit, so that double stack would have just been the nuts yesterday if you played just the chalk running backs. I mean, really, what would have? I'm sure the winning team, I don't know for sure, but had to be Burrow,
Walker, Jacobs,
Chase,
Burrow, all that.
Yep, and all the
I
chalk
triple
running
stacked
backs.
it, and I left off Boyd. I played Hurst, Chase, and Higgins, and the one I don't have is Boyd, which is
Boyd,
I mean,
yeah.
you needed him in Chase, but
Yeah, but again, I mean, Burrow's just had some massive performances fantasy-wise. I think he's a guy just to put on the radar each and every week, regardless of matchup. But it was, you know, fun, and the scoring continues to be super high. Austin Eckler again just smashes. We talked about that on the show as well, and then MMA, UFC. I'm a guy that if I have a bad take, I'll own up and take the L. And I texted you after. I said title was right, Hoop was wrong. So you know the people can know that Hoop took his L because I was on Oliveira. I really thought that he was going to beat Islam, and you've remained steady the whole time. I mean, you stayed on that side. You said, Hoop, there's no way. Like Islam is the man. He's going to whip Charles out, and it wasn't even close. I mean, really, it was full domination. So I texted you and took my L.
Is that guy just like unbeatable right now? Like, is he going to win like 8 or 9 straight?
The next fight's by far the hardest. The Volkanovski coming up to, I don't see a lightweight that Charles Oliveira made all the other best lightweights look top 10. I mean, not even in the same boat. And Islam destroyed Charles.
Yeah.
So
the
Volkanovski fight will be good though. I mean, he walked around over 200 pounds, rugby player. So he's coming up a weight class. He's short, but he's definitely stocky. Like 155 is fine. That'll be a great fight for sure.
Yeah.
But if he loses, Islam's going to run it for a long time, I think.
You can let everyone know I took my L on that one.
Hey, you took your L, but you still were in first place in the big chop.
Yeah, and I should. But it was like it was annoying because it was such. I had it both ways too. I don't know if you saw that. I thought I had the team with Oliveira too. So I think it was the same team.
Got you.
And I had Oliveira and Islam. So I'm like, oh, if Charles wins, I'm good. I didn't think I had both ways of that as being like the nuts, but I did end up having both ways. So I thought I had lost. I was like, oh fuck, it's over. And then I pull up the app and I won, but it wasn't like a massive win. It was a huge chop. It was a very popular type team. So
that was a good fight. I mean, I debated putting a big bet like I did Oliveira against the Gaethje. I debated on Islam, but I was the only one. Everyone I talked to, and I'm like, sometimes when you're the only one, you got to listen to sharp people. So I ended up not doing it. But fun fights on Saturday. We'll talk some NBA though. Let's see what we got in chat today first. Matty Ice always in here. We got Mamba, Logan May, Daryl Snyder, Andrew Martinez, Gator Nation, Bill Miner, James, Spencer, Kevin, Drew Carpenter. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us as always. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that big red subscribe button. We appreciate it. Talking some hoops though, 8-game slate. Let's get to the first game of the night. The Indiana Pacers, the Philadelphia 76ers. We got 228.5 total. Philly is favored by 12. AP, I'll start with you. You mentioned that you're a big James Harden fan. 9K on DraftKings for James Harden with this start. I think that price definitely stands out. And beat at 10.5 on DK, 10.3 on FanDuel, where you just play one center. I think he makes a lot of sense. There's Maxey. This Philly side looks a lot more intriguing to me than Indiana. How do you see this game, AP?
Yeah, I mean, probably a must win for Philly tonight. They're 0-3. I mean, which is kind of wild to think about. Obviously, a matchup here against a tanking squad and the Pacers. They should be able to get it done. What an embarrassing, we can overlook Boston and the Bucks, the two teams that are arguably the two best in their conference. And then I would put Philly, maybe, they should be inside the top 4 there. So, but to lose to a tanking squad and the Spurs, I mean, what an absolute embarrassment. Joel Embiid did have a huge game. James Harden was off. Tyrese. So we got a couple things there. We got a really nice tight rotation, obviously because the game stayed close. So that could be a risk. If Philly just takes control, and if we do get a blowout, which is in the realm of possibilities, that could be a path to where this game doesn't pan out. If that doesn't happen, then James Harden, phenomenal play. 9K. He looks good. He looks fit. Joel Embiid, while he looked bad against the Bucks and against Boston, he looked really good against a bad team in the Spurs. So now he gets Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson, maybe a little bit of Goga in the paint. I mean, Joel Embiid should be able to do whatever he wants against this Pacers team. It just comes down to, will he see full run? We know that they're going to be more cautious with him. Obviously, plantar fasciitis, I believe, was the injury he had over the summer. And so from a conditioning standpoint, he just hasn't been there. So, like, my one concern with Embiid is if they're up by 15, 20, could his minutes get capped at 28, maybe max 30 in that scenario? Yeah, that is a potential risk. So I do have to say, on the Philly side, I feel better about James Harden. I think Tyrese Maxey is definitely in play in tournaments. He's a guy, we know what type of upside that he has, and this is going to be a matchup where if he gets it going, like, Harden could just defer to him. We've seen this offense do that in the past. So really interesting island game to start us off. The meat of this slate starts an hour later at 8 Eastern. That's where a lot of these really good games are. So it really, in tournaments, it becomes an interesting decision what you do in this spot. If you think it stays close, you play Harden, you play Embiid, and you probably want to run it back with a piece from the Pacers side. Like, Halliburton would be the guy. I know he's your guy, Title. He'd be like the guy to keep this one close. I'm just not sure that's going to be happening. So I might be under on this game. I am looking at Harden, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I like that breakdown. I also think Isaiah Jackson would be interesting. I think I actually like him more than Halliburton today if I was using a run back, just with that big price difference. You also have to know, like you mentioned, this is the only game that locks at 7 p.m. Eastern. We are waiting on a little news today. It is very early in the NBA season, but we still do have news. Scotty Barnes, they play 30 minutes after. We could get that news right around this game. Sengun is questionable as well, Dylan Brooks. So Hoop, what are your thoughts on this? I don't think we have to load up on this game. I think Philly's more interesting. And then if you like Maxey, Harden, and Embiid, talk about that if you do. What kind of rule would you set? Would you play all three? Talk about that as well.
Yeah, very similar mindset to what AP laid out. I mean, James Harden is just underpriced at 9K. I mean, it's just a crazy price tag for him on DraftKings. I mean, his style of play fits DraftKings scoring perfectly, and 9K is just way, way too cheap. He'll be probably the most popular play on the slate, which is fine. I mean, we talk about all the time in the NBA. You don't have to, shy away from a guy that's going to be popular. I mean, the good plays are the good plays. So really in on Harden. Now, in terms of getting exposure to other pieces, you're kind of banking on the game staying close. And I think it's very easy to get unique within this game, because I think Embiid's ownership might be kept in check a little bit. He's obviously going to be owned, but more people are going to go to Harden, and they're probably not going to want to play Harden with Embiid. So I think, if you want to get different here, the way you get different is you don't play Harden, you go with Embiid, and then your run back option on the other side is probably Halliburton, who's just looked phenomenal. I know, Title, you're a huge fan of Halliburton. He's looked great to start the season. Fantasy wise, he's been awesome. 56, 50, 41. If this game stays close, it's probably because of him. And again, you can mix in some other pieces if you want, like Buddy Hield, I think has some upside, Jalen Smith, but it's not my favorite game. I mean, it's a big spread. We're looking at 12 points. We have some other, much, much closer games along the way. So for me personally, I'll be way under, but if I was I'm not doing 150 tonight, but if I was, I would get some Halliburton, I'd get some Embiid, because again, if this game does stay close, it's probably going to be high scoring, and those guys are going to play a big role. And then, the secondary pieces like Tobias Harris has just become like a floor play, with this roster. I mean, the upside is just not there anymore. I mean, he is cheap at 5.8K, but there's just not enough ball for him to be productive in this offense. Maxey's going to have some big games here and there, but more times than not, he's going to be overshadowed by Harden and Embiid. So, I'll be under on this one. Harden, Embiid, Halliburton are the guys that I'd play here.
Yep, I like it. AP, I'm just going to go to you quick with a quick question, because Drew Carpenter mentioned them. And one of the biggest stories of the NBA so far, Benedict Mathurin, dude has absolutely been balling out for the Pacers. 6.3K though. I mean, I don't see how you can get there personally. He's going to be 1%. He has been balling. Drew Carpenter just mentioned it. You want to touch on anything about him?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in tournaments, like if you're multi-entering, maybe on DraftKings you include him. You need, like, maybe he benefits from a blowout script. I think he's been highly efficient. He looks good out there. and there's going to be other opportunities to play him. I just see, I really see kind of a wide rotation from Indy, which brings some risk, into the situation here. And Philly would prefer to slow down the pace a little bit in this one too. So obviously we know Indy's going to play with pace. Halliburton likes to push it. So yeah, I mean, for me, I'm probably not going to get there. If you're 115, maybe. I just think you need the right script to pan out for him to, 6'3", you need, he's not going to kill you. And at that position on DraftKings, there's many good plays. So even if he puts up 38 or 40, I don't think that kills you in tournaments, and it's probably not necessarily in the optimal. So I'm off of him. Hopefully others chase him. I think he's been highly efficient. Looks good. I'll be honest. He looks really good on a bad team.
Yep. I don't think he'll get much ownership either. Just wanted to mention he's been very good to start.
One more thing on there. NBA, if you're playing on FanDuel, has a very nice price tag at 10-3, and he's cheaper than Jokic by almost $1,000. Basically the same price as Harden. They're only $300 apart. But that price tag stands out. 10-3 for Embiid on FanDuel. Very good bargain.
Yep, I agree. Good point there. Let's get to the next game on the slate. The Toronto Raptors, Miami Heat, 214.5 total. Miami is favored by 3.5. We got Scotty Barnes questionable. I'm seeing some places got him doubtful. I still see questionable. Hoop, I'll go right to you in this one. What are your thoughts on this game? Should be a close game, Vegas thinks.
Yeah, close game. Not my favorite spot on the slate. The total, 215, relatively low. Not that matters all that much in the NBA, but it's substantially lower than some of the other spots. The one guy I definitely would consider on the Toronto side, and I suppose he would get a boost if Barnes were to be out, is Siakam. Had some big games so far this season, a 50 spot, the massive game against Brooklyn. And then, Cleveland had a solid game too. So he's been doing well fantasy-wise. The price for the one thing, though, especially on DraftKings, man, center. They continue they got to bump the centers up a little bit. I just did the plug some guys in for the cash chart, and there's I think 6 eligible cash centers, which mean, those guys are also solid GPP plays as well. And he's only center eligible which is stupid. I don't know why he's not power forward eligible as well. So it makes it tough, but he's been solid. He'd be my favorite. Now, if Barnes is out, then slight boost to some of these guys, but no one's standing out as a strong price per dollar play. Van Fleet at 8.6. I don't think I can get there on this slate. On the Miami side, they're also a tough team right now. It's just kind of crowded with Lowry, Hero, Butler, Bam. Bam's the guy that I do think gets ownership, but I'll just pass. I just don't think he's a good basketball player. I've been talking about it for a while. Yes, he'll have some good fantasy games, but his style of play is not, what is successful in the NBA. Really has to get the double doubles and some putbacks. I'll pass on Bam. I played him, I think the first slate of the season. I'm like, you know what? I'm just done with this guy. I don't know. He's just super overrated as a basketball player. So off of him, Jimmy Butler, it's very hard to pay a premium for Jimmy Butler with Lowry and Hero in there. Hero had the big opening night. He's been fine overall. If I'm playing Miami guys, it would probably go in this order, which is relatively nasty. Lowry price is cheap, but it would only be a last guy in type play. I'm not building around Kyle Lowry. And then Hero number 2. And I just don't have much interest. So the guys I'm looking at in this game, Siakam, I guess maybe Lowry and Hero if I'm 115 or as a last guy type in, but no core plays here for me whatsoever.
Yeah, Hero would be my favorite as well. And then I got him, Precious Achiuwa, we got to mention. If Scotty Barnes is going to be out, I assume Precious will slide into the starting lineup. Again, only center eligible, though, at 5K. Yeah. Center's loaded. You have to know where to put, or you have to pick the right ones today for sure. But I think Precious at 5K would definitely be in consideration. AP, thoughts, Miami and Toronto?
Yeah, so it would be nice to get a little contrarian take in here. This is actually a game I have some interest in. I don't think Scotty Barnes plays tonight. He did not come back into that game. He was helped up, rolled his ankle pretty bad. Obviously, X-rays were negative, but I think a true game time decision, I would not be surprised if he was ruled out. And when you look at what Toronto was forced to do. One, they already run really tight rotations. That's one thing that we love about this Toronto team. Precious came in and looked really good. He looked really good alongside Siakam. I think what we see is Precious. We see Siakam, Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, and OG. Those dudes, those five right there, basically played the entire second half. Like if you look at their rotations, I mean, it was them the entire game.
It was what we've come to use, or we've got used
and
to.
it's just
Old
so
Toronto.
like and here's the thing you got to do, because like right now it's so NBA is a projection driven sport. Okay, as we get more samples under our belt, projections optimizers become more efficient. Early on in the season, you have to manually adjust some of these things using kind of an eye test, if you will, because so many people are they're looking at, and I'm telling you, we're going to talk about this game. It's a good game. Jazz Rockets, 235 total. That's where people are looking. However, from a rotation standpoint and minutes that we're going to get something that's very rare this early in the season, which is a very tight rotation on both sides of this game. So the thing about the Heat too, they're really limited. And like, I think Tyler Hero might be the best play on the slate. Like the dude is leading offensive usage on his team. I mean, he's taken a huge step up. Kyle Lowry kind of sucks, man. He would much rather defer right now. And we're going to see Max Struss, K. Fallick's boy. I think like Bam looks totally lost. Like I have no idea what to do with Bam. Miami, they're going to be in this game. Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
They're going to be in this game. And if you figure like, how are they going to do that? I think it's Max Struss. I think it's Tyler Hero. Gabe Vincent's been good off the bench, and Jimmy Butler. And projections are going to like Bam. Projections are going to like Kyle Lowry, the two guys that I don't really like that much. So I have interest in this game, and how I'm attacking it is I'm just bumping up these guys I like, the guys that I know that are going to get big minutes. Tyler Hero, definitely one of my favorite. Max Struss, I think, is really interesting. He's going to go with like completely unknown, because Kelly Olynyk's right in that spot, same price tag, and arguably a really good spot. But I'm going to, bank on the minutes here. Hopefully we see a really close game, and hopefully we see, minutes kind of pan out and good fantasy production pan out.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think the ownership will be too much, so it definitely makes sense. A little contrarian take there. Before we get to the next game on the slate, we had about 500 watching. Likes hurtful right now. I haven't really asked yet. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that big red subscribe button. 300 is the number. Should easily be able to get it with over 500 watching. We appreciate it. Takes 2 seconds out of your day. We had NFL on the bet show. Tyler Spread, myself was on earlier talking touchdowns. We had the Showdown show. JT Brick was on there. Big T as well, talking football. We're on here doing shows for free all the time for you. So 2 seconds, thumbs up, subscribe button. We appreciate it. 300 for the plays of the day. I also want to shout out some members. The members never win segment. We have Alec, who turned $20 into $10,000 in MLB. Matthias Mark turned $10 into $15,000 in NFL. A new member, Jeff Nugent, turned $37 into $10,000 in NFL. Shawnee, $22,000 in NBA. At Eden Cohn, $270,000 in NBA, and then our guy Tambo, $100,000 in NBA and a King of the Beach seat. I think that's 2 of them for them. Awesome stuff. We had a lot of members never win yesterday, I saw as well. If you do want to get on this segment, we have a members never win segment in Discord. Drop your screenshots in there and you can get on here. Congrats to all of you though. Again, like button, subscribe button. We appreciate it. Let's get back to this slate though. Third game, the Orlando Magic, the New York Knicks. We got a 222 and a half total. The Knicks are favored by 8. I'll go to you in this one, AP. Franz Wagner, he's played some decent basketball. Paolo's been an absolute beast. I always love playing Wendell Carter. I think I like the Magic side more than the Knicks. What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, like DFS wise, man, I'm not like too interested in this game. Like Cole Anthony's kind of interesting. Leading usage on his team right now. But 6'2", like I'd rather play Tyler Hero for 300 more. Jalen Brunson, just man, like the problem with the Knicks is you have all of these, and we talk about it, we've talked about it on a few shows now. You got all these ISO guys, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. And then honestly, I think Emmanuel Quickley has looked phenomenal off the bench. There's just too many pieces there. I don't really want to mess around with it. So if like Brunson's popping, while I like Brunson as a player, I liked him on the Mavs. He's new to this team. He's still finding his way. The team's still going to run through RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. So like, I just can't pay that price tag for him when we got Tyler Hero right below him and then a few other plays, obviously. So I'm going to be off the Knicks, and honestly, I'm probably going to be off the Magic here too.
Hoop, what are your thoughts? Magic, Knicks.
Yeah, it's the one game I'm willing to pretty much cross off here. Again, if you're playing 150, some guys I think you can play here. Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter, I think is fine. But again, with Wendell Carter, center, man, it's tough. I mean, there's some really good center plays. So I don't know how much I'd even get there in 150. And then on the Knicks side, there's just nothing here for me. So yeah, this game sucks for me, and I'll be mostly off of it.
Let's get to the next one, see if it's any better. The Brooklyn Nets, the Memphis Grizzlies, big total, 233.5, a 1-point spread. Memphis is favored. We do have Dillon Brooks, who is questionable in this game. Hoop, I'll go right back to you. Talk to me if the Brooks news means anything, and then who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I mean, if Brooks is out, it's definitely going to be a slight boost to guys like Bane and Moran. I mean, Bane and Moran, I think, are still in play regardless, but it'd be a little bit of a boost. It might nudge them up a little bit. Morant, has the full price tag at 10-1, and kind of coming off that stinker against Dallas. Maybe people stay off him. He's a guy that I want access to probably every single night, especially on only an 8-game slate. So I think he's fine. This Santi Aldama, two really good games and then one kind of stinker last time out. I'm fine going back to him as well. I mean, this is a nice game. 233 total. Memphis only favored by 1. And then on the Nets side, I don't like the Nets. I like them more on FanDuel. They're much cheaper on FanDuel. Like Durant is 10-2 on DK, 10 on FanDuel. Kyrie has a good FanDuel price. Kyrie's only 8-7 on FanDuel. So I'd probably play those guys a little bit more over there. Ben Simmons, it's an interesting price tag. I mean, I think the guy is terrible at real life basketball, but 6'6" on DK, 6'4". He'll be in the mix for me tonight. Unfortunately, it's not a comfortable feeling. Don't get me wrong, but we got 233 total here. 1-point spread. This game stays close. I mean, there's going to be multiple guys that kind of go off. So, Kyrie and Durant on FanDuel, Simmons probably on both sites. And then I think Morant, Bane, and Aldama on the Grizzlies side are all solid options here.
Yep, I like it. AP, going to you. I don't think people are going to pay more than $9K for Harden on this slate, which means KD, Kyrie, Morant, all are going to be pretty low owned. Do you have interest in any of them? What are your thoughts in this game?
Yeah, I think this game is one of the more interesting ones in tournaments. When you think about the Nets, what the Nets were trying to do with Ben Simmons is get better defensively. While that may happen, it hasn't yet. They've been one of the worst teams in the league defensively this year. They're playing with pace, though, so we like that from a fantasy standpoint. The Grizzlies, a good defensive team last year. However, they're down pieces right now, and you got Santi in there. Steven Adams hasn't been good, and no Dillon Brooks. He's a good defender. Like the dude throws up bricks all the time. Dillon Bricks is what we like to call him, but he's a good defender. That's what he brings. Usually will lock up on whoever the opposing one is on the other team. He's been out, and so for me, if Brooks is in, yeah, maybe discount this game a little bit. If he's out, this becomes a phenomenal tournament play. John Morant becomes a really, really good play, and you could run it back with a KD or Kyrie Irving, I think, who are going to be virtually like unowned. Like, I don't think a lot of people are going to play them at all. I think, like, if anything, like the optimizers were trying to give me Ben Simmons a lot this morning. Like, they're 6'6", you need like the most efficient stat line possible from Simmons. And then if you look at the fourth quarter, this dude runs away from the basketball. Like another crazy stat I've seen on Simmons. I think he's taken like 2 free throws or something, or been to the foul line twice so far through 3 games or 2 or 3 games. Just crazy. Obviously he's not being as aggressive as he should, because we would see more free throws, we'd see more shooting opportunities. So like, if you're relying solely on peripheral stats and defensive stats from a fantasy standpoint, I just can't do that. I would rather play Nick Claxton, to be honest, over Simmons, but he's only center eligible, and there's a lot of other options at center. So I think this is a wait for the news. And if you want to get different, you're going to be able to, because I see John Morant coming in very low owned. I see kind of the studs on the other side. Like Kyrie's 9-4. Yeah, he's going to battle KD. You don't want to play those guys together. But in the right script there, no good defenders, in the backcourt. If Brooks is out, could be a Kyrie night. So for me, it's kind of a wait and see. I think it's a really interesting game in tournaments.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. We got 4 games left on the slate. Looking at the like button right now, about 600 watching, 200 likes. It's hurtful. I'll remind one more time. I hate asking, of course, just like you guys don't like hearing. But man, if we don't get 300 today, we cannot give you the plays of the day. 300, like button, subscribe button, takes 2 seconds. Breaking down this 8-game slate for you. Let's get to the next game on the slate. I think you guys are going to have some interest in this one. The Utah Jazz, the Houston Rockets. Big total at 234.5. Utah is favored by 2.5. Sengun is questionable in this game as well. If he's out, I already think Usman Garuba, 3.5K. You're talking about centers. That's another center to add to that list. Hoop. I think he's in play, even gets stronger if Sengun is out. Olynyk's been very good. Lauri Markkanen, talk about being really good. He has been very good this year. Kevin Porter, Jalen Green, there's Clarkson. This game has a lot of options, I think. Hoop, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, very appealing fantasy game. We got the number 1 team in the West here in the Utah Jazz, 3-0 start, scoring a ton of points. Who would have thought? But now they land in this ideal matchup against Houston. The total sitting at 235, close spread. This is probably the premier fantasy game of the slate. In terms of the price tags, Kelly Olynyk, both sites 4.8, 5.2 on DK. Markkanen 6.4 on DK. Markkanen on FanDuel 7.6K. So they really got him up there. So definitely like him on DK. Jordan Clarkson I think is fine as well. A lot of different ways to go. And then on the Houston side, if I'm going to be heavy on Utah, which I plan on being, I got to consider some of these guys. Really like Kevin Porter Jr. I think this is a game that he could kind of get loose in. It's been solid, but hasn't had that big explosion game. I think it could be tonight. Jalen Green, Garuba, 3.5K. We're struggling for full punts. He's a full punt at 3.5K, opens up a ton for your lineup. Obviously, it sucks that he is only center eligible, but I'm fine with that. If Sengun's out, he's a really solid option. The price on Jabari Smith has come up a little bit, but he would also be in my player pool tonight. This is a great game. 235, Utah favored by 2.5. We have a ton of options on both sides. I really like this game here.
Yeah, AP, going to you. Look at Jalen Green, 20, 19, 21 shots in his first 3 games. KPJ, 19, 16, 15 shots. Play at a high pace. They chuck the ball, whether it's going in or it's not. It's hard not to like some of these Rockets and always the opponents. We've been picking on the Rockets for a while. It is going to get some ownership, though. What's your approach in this one?
Yeah, so, all right. So if you're a tournament player, like large field stuff, just looking at yesterday, on the Sunday slate, I know projections and optimizers were really driving things because Lauri Markkanen was 40, 50% owned. I was just holy shit, that is insane for Lauri Markkanen. Here's what you got to think about if you want to get contrarian. It's a long season. You can take shots. The one thing no one's talking about is the Jazz have played. This is going to be their 3rd game in 4 nights, and their 2 previous games both went to overtime. They currently have a 10-man rotation. Now, what we're all looking at is the Vegas total here, 235. We're also looking at Houston Rockets. They don't play any defense. Still, I guess, can we really see another 40-minute night out of some of these starters? I'm kind of beginning to question that. And if you look at the bench here, there's a lot of guys that they could go to on the Jazz side. So this is where I'm getting different in tournaments tonight. Colin Sexton, I think this is a spot where they let him run. Why would Mike Conley put, I know he's probable and he'll probably play, but why would he play starter minutes at all? I don't understand that. This is a team that should be tanking. They don't want to win games. They want to lose games. At least you would think so when you look at the makeup of this team. So I'm just going to get different. I'm probably going to be under on Lauri Markkanen. Kelly Olynyk 5.2 is just too cheap. But honestly, I like Walker Kessler and I like Colin Sexton. I think so. Colin Sexton, so he hasn't been getting the minutes, obviously, and his shot has not been falling, but he leads the team in offensive usage. When he's in there, the offense is running completely through him or Lauri Markkanen if they're playing together. But I think this Walker Kessler guy has a ton of upside, especially in a matchup here against the Rockets, unless Sengun is out and then he has to, match up against Boban. That would be kind of like a worst case scenario type of thing. So this is a game where you got to keep an eye on the news. We need more information here with Sengun because it could bring many different things into the mix. I'm not saying I'm under on this game because there are value pieces that I just think that you need to consider. I'm just trying to find ways to get a little bit different. That's kind of how I'm playing it.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Kevin in chat asked you a question. He said, would you play Porter and Jalen Green together? And I think it was the first show that I was on last Wednesday. I was like, yeah, I guess you can. I don't love it though. But looking at the shot attempts, both these guys are chucking up. I'm fine playing them both together. I probably would make a rule to play at least one Utah on the other side though, because if they miss their last rotation, it's a blowout somehow. They're not going to get there playing both of them. But yeah, I totally think you could play them together. They're going to be chucking, that's for sure. Let's get to the next game on the slate, the San Antonio Spurs, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Another big total at 235. Minnesota is favored by 8. AP, I'll go back to you in this one. Gobert and Towns, they played some pretty good basketball together. Gobert has definitely had a good start to the year. As far as the Spurs side, they're still pretty cheap. I expect some of them get some ownership. Talk about this game. What you like?
Yeah, I mean, tough spot here for the Spurs. I mean, if you look at Pop's rotation right now, it's an absolute disaster. Outside of Devin Vassell, he's kind of been the centerpiece there. So projections are going to like him. I think he's a core build. A core play you can build around for sure. You have to think the minutes are safe. Again, with Pop, nothing is a guarantee though. We could see Josh Richardson mix in there, Primo. I mean, there's a lot of dudes that he could roll in there, assuming that the Wolves take a lead. And we saw it in, I think, the first game. Vassell came out and shot, what was he, like 0 for a ton. So he's kind of like while I love him tonight, he's kind of the guy that I see like later on tonight in Discord, everyone tilting like him if he starts busting. And he's going to be a chalk play. So definitely a decision point for me. I think he's obviously a good play from a price standpoint, but there are some concerns that I have just when you factor in the rotation and what the Spurs are trying to do right now. And then, yeah, the Wolves, I don't know about you guys, but these guys are tough to play. Like, you can't play Gobert, and then you can't play Towns. I mean, you could play Gobert. I don't want to, but I can't play Towns because he's getting no rebounds. Because with Gobert there's just so much usage to go around. The one guy I do like is Jalen Noel off the bench. I think he benefits from many different scripts here. I like his rotation. I like his usage in the second unit. And then I think he benefits also from a blowout script. So when the Wolves are up by 15, 20, they're in early in the fourth quarter, I see him possibly being a guy that helps to close things out. And he's only 3.8K.
Yeah, I like that call. I think Anthony Edwards, if I did have a spend up on Minnesota, he would be the one. You're getting about a 30% usage rate at 7,900. He's just a really good basketball player. He's someone I like to get ahead on. Should be pretty low owned as well. But Minnesota, there's a lot of mouths there to feed. San Antonio side, tough matchup. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the point so far. It's like, man, with the Timberwolves' current setup, like I can't play Karl Anthony Towns. I'm definitely not playing Gobert. The only guy I would consider on the Timberwolves is the one that you just mentioned, Anthony Edwards, 7.9 on DK, but 7.4 on FanDuel stands out. I mean, shooting guard eligible over there. Shooting guard let me verify that he's shooting guard eligible.
I think he's shooting guard small forward.
Yeah, shooting guard small forward, 7.4K. I really like him over there. Fine DK play as well, but prefer him on FanDuel. But really the only guy that I really want to play on the Timberwolves side. And then on the Spurs, just going to add one more name. I mean, Vassell is a clear play. 5.4 on DK. That stands out as a solid price tag. And then Pirtle, I mean, 6.3K. Talked about him last week. Typically a very high floor type guy. Didn't really see that night one, but he's bounced back. 41 fantasy points and then 35. Just a very stable, safe play with upside. So I really do like Pirtle as well. So like Pirtle, Vassell, and Ant Edwards, probably the only plays for me. Like Keldon Johnson, they got him up there around 7K now. I just don't think I can get there with the uncertainty in terms of playing time. So Vassell, Pirtle, Ant Edwards, and that's going to be it.
I like it. We got 2 games left on the slate. We got like 650 people watching. I set the likes way too low. I know you guys are going to get it. 300. Let's make a push for 350 though. 300 was the number. Hit the like button. We're going to get to the plays today after these 2 games, but surprise me. Hit 350, 400 even. We appreciate it. Takes 2 seconds out of your day. 2 games left. The Boston Celtics, Chicago Bulls, 225.5 total. Boston is favored by 5.5. I'm just going to say Jason Tatum. I think he's going to be pretty low owned. Usage rates there. He's rebounding the ball well. I think this is a very good spot. I expect a competitive game today in Chicago. Sign me up for Jason Tatum. Hoop, what are your thoughts in this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly probably going to be Jason Tatum and nothing else. I mean, I just don't see any other plays. I mean, Tatum at 9.9, I think is very solid. I mean, I guess you could probably make the case for Jaylen Brown, but man, I just like him when he's, 8K or 7.8K. Like 8.5 feels a little steep for Jaylen Brown, in my opinion. Now, could he go there and nuke the slate? He has that upside, but he's not going to be on my teams tonight. So it's just going to be Tatum on the Celtics side. And then on the Bulls side, very difficult because, Levine's obviously back. DeRozan, high upside guy, but no, man, that price tag, it's there. 9.3K. That's a big price tag. I mean, more expensive than James Harden. I just can't imagine playing him over James Harden for $300 more. I just can't do it. Vucevic at 7.8. Center eligible. There's so many damn centers I want to play. Don't think I can get there. And then, like I said, with Levine back, it just takes away from everyone just enough where I just can't play them. So I guess that was a long way of saying I'm only on Jason Tatum in this game.
Yeah, I don't think you need to run back a Jason Tatum either. I do not like the Chicago side. Think it's pretty easy fade as well. AP, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I am in agreement with you guys. I think what you do. So yeah, I don't think you need to play anyone from the Bulls side. Levine, just too many mouths to feed. With Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, and then on the Celtics side, what I think you do is you set a rule. If you're running multi entries, you like one of Tatum or Brown. I don't see them both getting off together. And then what I would do is slightly bump them up, maybe bump Jason Tatum up more than what the current projection is that's on him, and then give Jaylen Brown a little bit of a bump too. But I think it's one of those 2 guys. Like Derek White just absolutely went off like this last game. I don't see that happening again. Marcus Smart, the price tag is pretty fair there on him. And then, Brogdon is kind of cutting into his role. So like the backcourt's really tough, but we do know in a competitive game has to be one of Tatum and Brown going off tonight. And I agree with you guys. Tatum looks phenomenal right now. He's a stud, absolute stud. It's hard to argue against him, man. 9.9K is going to cap his ownership. Like it's so hard to play him. So again, if you want to get contrarian tonight, bump him up, go over to SaberSim and look at what his current projection is, bump it up by like 8 points, 10 points, and just see what the builds look like with Tatum in there, if you get him at all. Because like I had to bump him up a lot for him to even hit any of my builds tonight. So for me, it's Tatum or Brown, and nothing from the Bulls side.
Yeah, definitely makes some sense. All 3 of us are pretty much lockstep there. Last game on the slate. Again, like button, subscribe button. We do appreciate it. Talk this last game, get you the plays of the day. Then we'll get on out of here. The premium up to lock show every single day, Monday through Friday. BigT, JSU, Holden, I believe. That's the usual crew. Sometimes you get a new face in there as well, but they will be taking you up to lock in this 8-game slate. This game, 2 hours after all 5 of these other games, 10 p.m. Eastern, the Denver Nuggets, the Portland Trailblazers, 226 total. Denver is favored by 4.5. There's Jokic on the slate at 10-9. When I get to both of you, I want you to answer Embiid or Jokic. Someone in chat asked that. As far as the Portland side, Josh Hart, good price tag at 5.6. Anthony Simons is the guy that I want to mention, though. I really like him. He's shot the ball very, very poorly to start the year, but 22 field goal attempts, 17, the usage rate, 26, 24, 26, paying 6K for him. He's not going to be low owned, but he's not going to be high owned. I think he is a very strong play as well. One of my favorite tournament plays on the slate. Hoop, talk about this game.
Yeah, I think this is a very appealing game. I mean, 226 total here. Denver favored by 4. I think we can see, a high scoring back and forth type game. I mean, I'll start on the Trailblazer side. And, we talked about Lillard opening night. He was only like 8K on FanDuel. He's still under 9K there, and he's played well this season. 9.5 on DK, not super appealing, but in a tournament type thing where you're going to have a lot of Jokic, I'm fine playing Dame at 9.5. And then FanDuel, the price tag is where's he at over there? 8.8. So under 9K, I like him. So I'm in on him, more so on FanDuel, but definitely on DK. I like this Simon's call. I mean, look at the minutes. He's playing a ton of minutes, 35, 42, 35, and he's chucking the ball, 22, 17, 17. He's only 6K. So in on Simons, in on Josh Hart as well, 5.6K. I think is a very good price tag for Josh Hart. They're running a tight rotation right now, and Hart's kind of filling it up across. I mean, look at the rebounds for Hart, 7, 7, and 16.
He's always been a great rebounder.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, that's awesome to get from a shooting guard, small forward, very aggressive, crashing the board. So in on him, those three, definitely like him. And then on the Nugget side, you asked Embiid or Jokic. It's going to be Jokic for me almost every time. Now, where it gets a little more interesting, like I said, on FanDuel, you got a $900 price difference, and that is pretty substantial. So that might shift a little bit on FanDuel, where Embiid's only 10-3 over there. It's just a bad price tag for him. So, but on DK, it's going to be Jokic.
400 savings. You're Jokic.
Yeah, it's only 400. Again, I would probably side with Jokic there for sure. But I want exposure to both those guys, especially if you're doing 150 teams. Michael Porter Jr. I like him, 6K. Been pretty productive this season. He has some big upside. And then the last guy that I was going to mention is KCP. I mean, not a comfortable play by any means, but he's 5.1K. He's playing over 30 minutes, and the last 2 games, he's kind of been chucking 14 and 13 shots. He's going to get a lot of open looks playing alongside Jokic. So I do like a little bit of KCP, not a core player or anything, but a guy that I'll be looking to get exposure to just because I like this game. I think this game can be very friendly for fantasy purposes.
Yep, makes some sense. Simon, got to get Holden's bot out of the chat. Appreciate it. AP, I think we touched on a lot of the guys. The one name Hoop or I didn't say that I think could be in play, Nurkic. Any interest in him? Could get in foul trouble early against Jokic. But what is your approach in this one tonight?
Yeah, I do have some interest in Nurkic. He's had some good games against his boy Jokic from a fantasy standpoint. Man, like I don't know if did you guys see this game yesterday and how like the Lakers lost? The Lakers were up by 7 with like a minute and a half left, and they end up losing that game. I mean, I think it was like, 30 seconds left? Like they're up. Russ comes down, going for a quick 2-for-1, like chucks up a 3, like absolute brick. And then Dame comes down and just freaking ice in his veins and hits a deep one, and then the Lakers were in trouble. I mean, absolute embarrassment the Lakers are right now and what's going on there. I mean, and not like LeBron or anything, but like Russ is just absolutely terrible. Dame,
who's surprised?
How are they still playing him? That's what I don't get. Just sit him down. Like, just sit his ass down. Like, he's not helping this team. They're not going to win with him. It's crazy.
But yeah, Dame Lillard, like, man, he's looked really good. The problem I have with Dame is look at the fantasy, look at his scores. That's all real scoring. 41 points. And off that 41 points, he only got you 52 fantasy points.
He's always been like that too.
Yeah. But we saw higher assist rates. And I just think like with playing alongside Simon's kind of like a natural point guard, can handle the ball as well. And honestly, like late last season, he was their main guy. So like, I think that hits his the peripheral stats a little bit. Same with Josh Hart. So I'm really torn on what to do with Dame just because they're on a back-to-back, at that price range. I really like Harden over Dame tonight, so I got to side with Harden, even in a blowout script. Harden gets you so many other, rebounds, assists, steal, like he just gets you so many other things. So I'm and then the other thing too is like when you think about Denver, what they're going to have to do defensively, KCP probably would be locking up Dame. And probably Jamal Murray, or they bring in Bruce Brown if Simon starts going off. So defensively, it's going to be interesting to see what Malone does here. And with that, Malone's kind of, we all know what Malone does, playing around with the rotations and stuff. We've kind of seen that early. And so, like, on the Denver side, I'm definitely not playing Aaron Gordon. I think Jokic is fine. The price tag is way up there, and he's kind of deferring right now. And we've seen this in the past with Jokic, which is kind of why I'm a little bit concerned right now. Unless our boy Big T's on him. If Big T's on Jokic, I will blindly follow, and I'll be on Jokic too. Obviously the Jokic whisper, but right now I do have my concerns because it looks like he wants to get MPJ involved, probably wants to get Jamal Murray more involved there too. A lot of usage to go around. So yeah, for me, it's Josh Hart, it's Nurkic. And then I like your Simons call. I think he's real interesting.
I like it. That is all 8 games on this slate. I did check the Up to Lock schedule. We got Mangone, DC, and Kurt coming up on the Up to Lock show. Always going to be a fun show there. There is some injury news. Maybe we'll get the Scotty Barnes news before they get off air. So make sure you check that out. You can get your questions answered in the live show chat. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe button. It is hurtful. I definitely set the number too low. Man of my word, you guys got 300. We're going to get you the plays of the day, but make a push for us, please. We appreciate it. We got NFL tonight. Big T always got his player pool up for NBA. I saw some people asking about that. I'll get it for NFL as well. The core plays, cash chart playbook, all of that stuff. As always, head over to Run Pure Sports, become a member. Make sure to get in Discord. There's no better time than right now with all the sports going on. Let's get the plays of the day, though. I will start with myself first with the SO play of the day. Gonna go right back to that last game. I talked up Simons a bit. Man, he's chucking the ball. He's gonna play all the minutes he can handle. I don't think the ownership's too much. It's my favorite game environment on the night. Anthony Simons, the SO play of the day. I think he finally puts a good shooting performance together and gets a flame emoji. Let's go to Hoop, not the mom's basement play of the day, the rich parents play of the day. Who do you got?
Yeah, I was going back and forth in this one, but I'm going to go to that Utah-Houston game. I'm going to go with Kevin Porter Jr. Like I said, he's been close to the big games. I think he gets the massive one tonight. I think he goes for like 50 fantasy points. So Kevin Porter Jr., rich parents play of the day.
Another guy that's going to chuck the ball, whether it's going in or not. Always like those plays. AP, the gentleman's call of the day. Take us home.
Yeah, I got to go. I might stick in that same game. This is one I got to let marinate a little bit, but like I want to go out there, true tournament play, but in this matchup and with what I think we could see as far as rotations go, given the fact that the Jazz are coming off a back-to-back game, but then their last 2 games have gone into overtime. And so the minutes have just been crazy. And the fact that this dude can rack up blocks with the best of them. I know Stevie Boyton's going to absolutely love this one if he's watching, but I got to go Walker Kessler. I think he has, if he gets the minutes, 4 or 5 block upside tonight. What's his, do you guys have his FanDuel price up?
Pulling out right now. It's 4.8K. All
right, 4.8. So on DK, he's 4.6. No one's going to play him. He's going to be like 0.4 or 0.5% owned, something like that.
Maybe even lower.
Maybe even lower than that.
It'll be you and then whoever follows.
Yeah, maybe his mom. If his mom plays DFS.
Yeah.
But if we get the right script, the right rotation, the upside that he has with rebounds, blocks, putbacks, all of that is way higher than what projections are going to be telling you.
You might have just broke the record for the lowest owned play of the day.
I mean, he's going to be
lower than
so low. This is not a tournament only play. And I mean, he might not even be in my core. Like I'm throwing one out there, like a crazy play that I think could win you a tournament tonight in the right script.
Yeah, I mean, 29, 22, 25 DK points. There's no tilting anyone less than 1% owned, though. So everyone know that if you are playing him, you are going to be by yourself. But yeah, I don't mind it, AP. Those are the 3 plays of the day. Fun 8-game slate. We got NFL tonight, monster prize pools there. Make sure you check out the Showdown show that the guys did before this. Make sure you get to the Up to Lock show, get in the live show chat. We'll be back tomorrow, as always, talking hoops. Let's see some RPS logos up top. Hit that like button. Hit that big red subscribe button on your way out. We appreciate it. Have a great Monday night for AP, Hoop, Simon Behind the Sticks. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.